Smooth nuts. How's my football sound? All right. Rolling 1 and 2. Let me put my first fucking 15 seconds of thoughts together. So I don't sound fucking retarded. That's all right. All right. We did a nice little spicy social media poll. Do you want to hear more about war things, or do you care about not being fucking poor anymore? And pretty close, but more people pick not being poor. Surprisingly, I guess people don't want to hear about people getting tortured to death in Ukraine, or missing Javelin missiles that people put signs up saying missing Javelin missile. Please call this number to return. So I guess we're just gonna go over. We'll just go over the real estate thing and hope it works out for you. I would say this is for everybody. It's not for everybody. Everyone wants this get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not going to name any names, but if you live in Delaware, Ohio, maybe directed at you. I love you. But yeah, so basically, I'd put on there, if you've got a job and you pay taxes, then I could probably help you change your life if you give a shit about that. There's going to be people who have done this a lot of different ways. There's people who've made a lot more money than me doing what I do. There's just a lot of ways to do this, but I'm only going to speak on the way I did it because anything else would just not be true. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about things I haven't done before. But this is something that changed my life forever, and hopefully, it can be applicable to whatever you have going on in your life. There's going to be, I think, some differing opinions, like I said, on different professionals that have done this. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a professional either. I just did it. It worked out really well, and I can tell you the steps I did to do what I did. I think I've bought and sold maybe 30 houses at this point in my life. And I have 10 doors right now of my own that are rented here in Gainesville, Florida. And that all started maybe 6 years ago, roughly. But with that, like I said, if you got a job, you pay taxes, this is for you. At the end, I'll kind of go over to my cash-getting friends, tattoo artists, barbers who maybe aren't paying taxes as much as they should, and why I think they're losing money by not doing that. As not punk rock as that is, you're just throwing away money, in my opinion. But so with that, starting out, I would say the first thing to think about when wanting to do this is, one, do you actually care? Because there's going to be plenty of people who are like, you know what, I want to be successful. I want this, I want that, and just not willing to do what it takes, which is the majority of people, honestly. But also at the same time, there's just some people who don't give a shit about making money, and they just don't care about things, they say. And that's the thing about things. You can't say you don't care about them if you don't have the access. You don't have the capability to have things. It's easy to say, I don't want a nice truck. Well, you can't fucking afford a nice truck, so who are you to say what, one way or the other, And I'm sure the people listening are like, wow, that's a real cocksucker thing to say. And I say, that's correct, it is. But that's just the reality. And on the other end of it, like I said, it's not an easy thing, but I really think if you can give 5 years of your life to some sacrifice, then you'll change it for the better, because it's not just about money. I think the main thing when I think about it for myself is I haven't had a real job since I was in the Army, and it's just been solely, it was American Barbell Club for a long time, and that was doing okay. I mean, I still made good money doing that, but the real life changer was real estate, and I just kind of stumbled into it like almost anything else. figuring it out the hard way, I would say, in my own life. More than money, it is actual true freedom. It's not having a boss. Like I said, I haven't had a real job since I was in the Army, and I wouldn't really even consider that a real job because we were getting paid fucking $600 a week or something like that, you know. But it is true freedom. It is the freedom of nobody can call you and say, hey, you have to go do this. You have to show up for work. You have to do this or that or whatever. There's no one that can hold it over your head, nothing to be upset about. It is true control over yourself, which to me is just, there's not much higher on my list. And the thing is, money allows you to do those things, but also with making that gives you the freedom that I'm speaking about, to just, it's not about doing what you want. It's just living a little bit. It's a different type of stress. It's a stress you put on yourself compared to, you know, what other people expect of you and what they want you to do. But there's just no point in my life where I'm showing up to a job where a boss is yelling at me or, you know, just being consistently disrespected, but I have to sit there and take it because I depend on these people for money. And there's just no point in my life where that's ever happened, still to this point now. And there's not really much of a price to put on that. So I would say if you really give a shit about true freedom, this will at least help you be on that way. Like I said, this is my full-time job. This is what I do. But I would say to be a little bit more consistent, if you have a regular 9 to 5, whatever it is, you know, don't be ashamed of that. You know, a lot of people like, you know, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to make this, I want to make that. But this is kind of a little slower burn to get to that place. But yeah, I would say starting out, the first thing to really think about in the broad sense of this is don't worry about, to me, in my opinion, don't worry about the cash flow when you start buying houses. Think about your net worth at the end of the year. What is my net worth at the end of the year? Is it more or is it less? Because when you start thinking about like, you know, my rental's making me an extra $200 a month, $300 a month, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's never been my mindset. My mindset has always been appreciation. And with appreciation just comes bigger money than that $200 or $300 a month. That people focus on, because that's the number one question is how much money are you making every month on these rentals? And while it is true, like I am positive cash flow on everything, that's just not the number one goal. The number one goal is always appreciation in my mind. So starting out with it is, you know, there's a few things you need. This is going to be very, very basic if you bought a house before. If you haven't, I'll tell you now, it's, you know, they're going to want 2 years tax returns, 3 to 6 months bank statements. They're going to want to see that you have some assets in the bank. You're going to have decent credit and all of those things. You know, if you need help in certain ways, you know, you can send me an email, DM me, or whatever the case is, and I'll help you out. There's a few people I'll see one-on-one in person. So if you live in Gainesville or Alachua County, just hit me up and I can definitely give you a hand with that and give you some recommendations on people to use and see, things like that. So they're going to want that, and they're going to want to see your debt to income ratio. So basically take your gross monthly income, and I think with FHA, you can go up to 50%. So if you make 10 grand a month, you know, technically you could afford a $5,000 mortgage payment if you don't have any other bills. But I would say most banks are looking 40% or under. You can get away with 45%, something like that. So, you know, at 36%, you're at $3,600 a month if you're making $10,000 a month, which you might or might not be. I'm just using this as a general number. You know, with that, and then I would start researching properties in your area. Don't be desperate. Never be desperate. Always look for deals. So once you start looking at these deals, I mean, I check Zillow literally every single day. I'll get with my realtor almost every single day on what's coming across the board. And look for your first house. It doesn't have to be a house. It can be a townhouse, apartment, condo, whatever that is. Just have it set in your mind, I'm going to buy my first house. And with that, you're going to want something, we call it like lipstick repairs, basically, so that's just paint, flooring, maybe some basic kitchen stuff, some basic bathroom stuff, things that you can do yourself. The goal is to be in there for a year, do the repairs while you live in it. And in my experience, you can get about 20% more on doing these repairs yourself in the first year in value. So if you buy a place for $400,000, do these repairs. If you find a decent deal and you find things that are a little outdated, you can probably get about 20% over that. So from $400,000 to $480,000, you can make for yourself. So create $80,000 in net worth year one alone. And then with that, there's different statistics, but when we start talking about net worth, I wrote a few things down, so I'll read off some of these notes for you so you have a better idea. So at $400,000 purchase, you're looking at about a $3,200 a month payment. That includes taxes and insurance. And annual appreciation. So the value that your house goes up every year, appreciation, on average has been, what did I have on here? It's about 5%. Let's see. Since 1991, 4.3%. Since the year 2000, 4.7%. And since 2012, the average home has appreciated 7.5%. Well, 7.7. So I put in there 5% to be very fucking conservative on these home prices going up. So, this, like I said, this is something when people talk about their down payments and they get a little bit worried about that. There's programs out there now. You can go to Navy Federal. They have 100% finance programs. So you can go buy a house with no money out of your pocket, 100% financed, and in year one, like I said, you buy a $400,000 house at 5% appreciation year one, you're up $24,000 to your net worth. That's without repairs. That's without anything. You're up a pretty good amount. That 24,000 is based after some of the fixes that you do. So I would say 400,000. Do some repairs. Your value is at about 480,000. That 5% puts you at $24,000 year one. That you're up, and you're going to be paying rent anyway. Pay the mortgage, get a roommate, whatever the case is. Like I said, this isn't going to be like some easy thing. It's going to suck for 5 years, was what I'm saying. But if you can suck it up for 5 years, I promise your life will be changed. So. Year one, that $24,000 you're up in appreciation. Add that on top of the $80,000 that you just made for yourself by doing these repairs. Like I said, if you get a good deal on the house and you do the repairs yourself, you can expect about 20%. And in my experience, on every house. So you're at 80,000 plus a 24. You're up over $100,000 year one to your net worth. And after year one, what you're going to want to do is the same thing again. Either get another house of the same value or a little bit more and rent out the other house. Because as a primary residence, you can continue to get these 100% or 97%, 95% loans. You can carry 5 of them at one time. When you go start buying what we call investment houses, they're going to want 20, 25% down on every property. So in order to get 5 houses, $400,000, you're going to need to put $100,000 down every single time you buy an investment house, which is why that to the normal person, that's just not reality. But if you're getting into houses with no money down or 3% down, you're talking $12,000 to get into a house, and you're making that up in appreciation in 6 months of owning it. So when you go from house to house, it's going to require a lot of moving. Like I said, it's going to suck, but you buy your house, you live in it, you make the repairs while you live in it, rent that house out and go buy another one. Rent that house out, go buy another one. Rent that house out, go buy another one. So if you're going from this $400,000, like I said, you get your 20%, you're at 480. You've got appreciation year one of $24,000. You're up $104,000 year one. After 5 years, of just the first house. The loan, if rented, will be paid down $25,000. That's just the way the amortization schedule kind of works out, which is the rate at which you're paying your mortgage back. So you won't really be making a dent in your mortgage till several years in. All of our initial payments are usually going to interest. I want to say out of the $25,000 your loan will be paid down, I mean, maybe $100,000 is going to interest in that first 5 years. But after year 5, just conservatively, that $400,000 house is probably going to be worth about $600,000. So you're going to be up. I mean, you're going to be up $236,000 to your net worth after 5 years based off of one house. Fast forward, you do this again, you buy a house for $500,000. Like I said, you can get in at 100%. Your interest rate's going to be a little bit higher. But like I said, there's banks out there. You just have to look. Navy Federal has a no mortgage insurance, 100% financing product. And there's a lot of first-time home buyer products as well. So you go in for another one, $500,000. If you can find a good deal, things that need fixing, outdated stuff like that, you make the repairs while you live in it. 20% on that is $100,000. So there's another $100,000, takes you from $500,000 to $600,000 in value. Year 1, that's about a $3,900 a month payment for you. So whether it's you or you and a partner, after 5 years, you're about $30,000 paid down while someone else is making these payments for you. And then you're looking at about $765,000 after year 5, after appreciation and pay down. So on house 2, you're up $294,000 to your net worth after 5 years. So you're talking $294,000, $236,000. That's on 2 houses of $400,000 and $500,000. And that's if the trends continue. Like I said, this is relatively conservatively. I know in Florida, the annual appreciation over the last decade has been 10%. There's a couple different stats that I'll read for you, but this is Florida specifically because that's where I'm at. So yeah, over 10 years, 10.6% every year home values go up. Even since the year 2000, they're 6%. Over the last 5 years, up 12% every year. So that 5% I'm giving you is a pretty conservative number. But as you can see, you do this times 5 houses, you've got 4 people paying down your mortgage rate, your mortgage for you while you're living in the 5th house. And with this as well, you can buy duplexes, you can buy a 4-plex, and that's still considered you can still use that as your primary residence. If you have VA loans, that's even better. That's kind of free money. Like I said, anything that's giving you 100% financing, that's best case scenario because you're taking this appreciation that these home values are going up every single year with no money out of your pocket. Because if you were to take $400,000 and put it into the stock market, I think the annual return on stocks is like 9.6%. Since the Great Depression, something like that. But you're going to need that entire $400,000 to be put in cash, which the majority of people I know, don't have that. But with real estate, you go in with a $400,000 asset with no money out of your pocket, and you're still getting the gains from this. So that 5%, 6% in Florida, 10%, you're making the money with no money out of your pocket with a loan from the bank. So it's not as good as it was when rates were lower. That's a fact. And I think a lot of people are going to bring that up like, oh, rates aren't as good, this and that. Well, you're either going to make money or you're not going to make money. That's your choice to make. But I still think personally, if you're in the right markets, and like where I'm at in Gainesville is a college town, rents are high here. So if you live near a college town or anywhere where rents are high, you can do that. But if you're okay with moving for 5 years, like every year for 5 years moving, you go from primary residence to primary residence. You're getting in 5 houses with essentially no money out of your pocket. And if you have a stable job, even if you're, in my opinion, even if you have to put in $100, $200 a month into a couple of these houses, it's not like the money's going away. I would just look at it like a savings account, in my opinion, and that's what I've done. And then eventually, these 5 houses, through appreciation, you can pull some of this money out too, through refinancing. And with refinancing, you get the money back and you don't pay taxes on that money that you're getting back. If you sell the house, if you have $200,000 in equity and you sell your house, you're paying taxes on that money after 5 years. If it's your primary, they give you, I believe it's called 2 out of every 5, basically. So you can sell 2 of your houses every 5 years, and the government they'll give you the tax benefit, basically, of, I think it's, if you're married, $500,000 you don't pay taxes on. I could be butchering that, but I'm pretty positive that's what it is. But with refinancing, consistently every 5 years, I would just refinance it, pull that money out, because it's technically a loan and you don't pay taxes on loans. So you get that money out, somebody else is making your mortgage payment for you, and you just keep rolling this on times 5. So in this 5-year span, you're going to be well over $1 million in equity. And like I said, you can't look at it as what I'm making every month. That's what your job's for. Your job's for paying your bills and just living your day-to-day life. But real estate is what's going to get your net worth up, which to me, at the end of the day, is really all I've been concerning myself with. Once I shifted my mindset from cash flow, monthly income, to net worth, that's what really changed everything for me. That's, I don't know, that's kind of the basis of everything. As far as that, like I said, I might have left a few things out, but I can address it a little bit later. If there's questions, like I said, hit me up. I'll help anybody out. I would say, like I said, my cash friends. So if you are in a cash business, mostly barbers and mostly tattoo artists who are not paying taxes. I kind of feel the same way. You're kind of throwing your money away by not paying taxes. If you're making $100,000 a year and you're not paying $20,000 in taxes, which is essentially kind of roughly what it would be. You're not able to buy houses. You're not able to do a lot of these things, because even being self-employed alone is already a fucking pain in the ass for financing, because they want a lot more information. They want your bank statements for your business. They want your profit and losses. They want all of these things to show, because apparently a lot of people are just faking their income and avoiding taxes. But with that, you have to think, if you're showing $100,000 on paper, you're able to finance a house. You're able to, like I said, even on this $400,000 house, you're paying $20,000 a year in taxes to make all of your money legit. Well, year 1 appreciation, like I said, is $20,000. So you're already got your money back in appreciation, year 1. And then year 2, 3, 4, 5, and however long you have that house, you're getting this money back in compounding appreciation, essentially, because, you're going from this $400,000 to, now $420,000. And now, based off of that 420, another 5%, or, whatever the appreciation of the properties are at that moment. So I would say it's definitely worth paying your taxes. Not that I'm like Mr. fucking pro tax guy, but, like I said, if you're in a cash business and you're not doing that, and you're interested in real estate, that's that's the way to go. And I understand it sucks writing a big check at the end of the year, because I do it every year, but that's kind of the price you pay to play the game. And I know a lot of people, specifically where I come from, like, people don't want to play the game. They don't want to pay their taxes. They just want to avoid everything government related. And the thing is, you're still showing up at your job, getting told what to do by some person that you don't really fucking like. So who's really winning here? You're over here suffering for yourself for no reason when you don't have to. Do your job as a means to get by. In my opinion, this is the way I look at it, as a means to get by. And then set yourself up to where you don't have to be dependent on that. You do it because you enjoy doing it, not because you have to do it. And when you set yourself up with this, if you need to walk away, you can walk away. If you don't want to work for a year, you don't work for a year. You don't want to, I don't know, you don't want to do your shitty job. You don't do your shitty job, because you're not desperate for it. That, like I said, this is the true freedom that something like this allows you to do. So going back, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's people that are way more professional than me about this. And I can't even say I'm fully 2 feet into this. Honestly, I kind of half step when I do this, which is not what a lot of people would, tell people when they're telling people, how to make money. It's just, I know that I've made a lot of money doing this, and I haven't even fully committed to doing it. It's just, my brain does not work that way. I have ABC, I've got Red 8, I've got real estate, and, I just need all of these different things to keep my mind going, because that's what I need, because I'm fucking insane. But, real estate is the one thing that will get you large amounts of money, that will get you freedom, and that will give you the freedom to go do the things that you want to do. Like I said, for me, able to start these new companies that, maybe cost me money in the beginning, or not as profitable as I would like in the beginning, but it keeps you being creative, and it keeps you able to take risk to do bigger things. And that's all through real estate. So like I said, just in this scenario, buying a $400,000 house with yourself or you and a partner, do everything I just said with the fixes and everything like that. After the end of year 1, go buy another primary residence. Go from primary residence to primary residence with almost no money out of your pocket. And like I said, after 5 years just in these 2 houses, you're up almost $600,000. So like I said, multiply that, times the 5 houses, and you're up well over $1 million in 5 years. But it just comes down to just really committing to it, and really, it sucks, it does suck, but there is no other way, in my opinion, if you've got a regular 9 to 5, that really is going to set you up. Because you have to think, if you're making $100,000 a year and you don't pay any taxes and you don't have any other bills, it's going to take you a decade of your life to have $1 million net worth. That's saving every penny, having no bills. Which is not reality. People don't live like that. So in reality, you're losing 25% of that money. So you've got 75 grand a year. And then out of that, you can maybe save $15,000 or $20,000 after bills and expenses, which most people still don't even do that. Now you're talking, you've got $15,000 saved at the end of the year, and you put that in for 10 years, you've got 150 grand saved up in 10 years. So, there's just, and $100,000 is, it's decent money for most people. The majority of people I know, that's pretty decent money. So just something to think about. Like I said, I might have skipped over some things or forgot a few things, but that's at least the basis of it. So hopefully that helps you out. I'll try to put this together a little bit better, and maybe have some visuals to really show you what these numbers look like. But there's a lot more intricate details of it once you start getting into renovating houses and things like that. But this is just the basis. This is just the numbers. This is something that I've done, and I've lived. So if you got questions, hit me up, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. If you love it, let me know. And that's all I got for you.